if you are a foundational Black American, if you are a member of ADOS, American Descendant of Slavery, let me know. Let's talk about it. Fill me in. What am I missing here? Because all I'm seeing is people who look like me fighting over a term on how to describe people who look like me. Which is perfect because I have recently discovered that I have a problem with. All right, let me get the right side here. Okay, so here we have Tariq Nasheed and we have Yvette Carnell. All right, so I'm gonna get into a really, what I think is a really fascinating topic. It sent me down a rabbit hole yesterday because for some reason, well, let me tell you, I had never heard of the term ADOS before. Hashtag ADOS. For those of you who don't know, that's American Descendant of Slave. Okay, that is a movement started by Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks, the brother out of California, the former Los Angeles County District Attorney, who a lot of people respect his voice, at least if you follow folks online. I'm not super familiar with them, but I've been forwarded some of his videos. So they've started this movement called the American Descendants of Slavery. And if I try to give you all my understanding of it, I'll misquote. But in a nutshell, they believe that American blacks, descendants of slaves, although they use the term African American in their language, which I think is very troubling. And I think that if you're a black person and you're calling yourself an American black, but you're also calling yourself an African American, the two are very incongruent, and I don't really understand their message. And the reason why I'm bringing up her, and I've got the versus her and Tariq Nasheed, because Tariq Nasheed has a movement called Foundational Black American, okay, FBA, Foundational Black American. That's his group. And Tariq Nasheed says that that is an identity. It's not a political party. It's not a movement per se. It's an identity. Whereas American Descendants of Slaves say, oh no, we're a political party. We want action now. We want reparations now. And I know Tariq Nasheed is for reparations as well, because I quote him when or misquote him when I talk about, I don't care what, four other people do with their reparations. I don't care how they spend their money. Just give me mine, okay? We'll let the rest figure it out. So I support Tariq Nasheed in that. But what I don't support either one of these black people in is their very, very divisive language and nature over these two factions, the foundational Black Americans and the American descendants of slaves. Okay, so and really why it's so troubling is that I'm seeing language from both of them outside of pitting black people against one another. I'm seeing language from both of them that shows all this positive talk about Donald Trump and his policies for black people. Okay, now, and I'm not saying, well, I can say this. I don't know how much positive Trump has done for black people in general. I hear that black unemployment is down, at all-time lows. Unemployment across the board is down. And as a economist said yesterday, it means it's going to go back up. So enjoy this wave now, because if it's down now, like, folks are already starting to get laid off right now, okay? So you will see the reverse impact of this great boom of low jobs. Don't get it twisted. It is coming. But in the meantime, look at this tweet from Tariq Nasheed. Okay, so Trump says, he says Trump is actually talking about providing specific tangibles to foundational black Americans. Yet the Democrats, who black Americans have been so naively loyal to, are adamant about doing nothing, adamant about not doing anything specific for black Americans. So why should we honestly support the Democrats? All right. I agree with them in the last part. Why do black people support Democrats? At this point, it's kind of beyond me, because our best interests aren't being spoken for by the Democrats. And that's very true and unfortunate. And our blind loyalty to this party has really it's kind of set us back because the real leadership that we need in Washington and at the state level has not happened, despite little faces sprinkled in here and there. Okay, the leadership to really elevate us to the next level. I think reparations is a great topic. Okay, we're still in the form of talking about putting together a plan to sorry, I can see somebody on my camera. We're still in the form of talking about putting together a plan for reparations. So Yvette Carnell and ADOS says, give me reparations now. We want political action. We are a political party. They want to break away. So they partly attack black people who aren't for reparations today. Like they will, if you're a black celebrity, they may come for you. But what's troubling about her, Yvette Carnell, is that she's on the same wavelength with Trump as well. Okay, and I'm not saying that people can't be objective, okay? And every word that comes out of his mouth isn't terrible, maybe, I don't know. But the way that these two people who are so caught up in labels for black people, and they're both saying the same thing, by the way, because I agree with the American descendants of slaves in its whole, because that's what I am. I can track my family back to 1820, 1830. I know what part of North Carolina they were from. I know who owned them in North Carolina on that side. One side I don't, but I can clearly mark the records and go all the way back to the 1820s. And slavery was definitely still happening in 1820, okay? So I am a descendant of slaves, okay? I am a foundational black American, if you had to put a label on me. Both are true. But I'm certainly not going to fight with another black person, verbally or otherwise, about that level and that language, and because that's what's happening. Both of these parties, while backing Trump in certain ways, are then creating division between black people. So that's why I call them double agents. Or I asked the question at least, are Tariq Nasheed and Yvette Carnell double agents for Donald Trump? Okay, check this out. Tariq posted this here recently.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right?
I can't stand how condescending my man is. You get it? You niggas get it? We did. I mean, you did it, but we did it. And see, and that, to me, that's very telling, the way he said that, because he knows that when he says that we did it, he's talking about rich white men owned you niggas, and we put y'all to work. So that's what he means in that realm. Don't fall for the okie doke, people, okay? Don't fall for black people trying to create division amongst black people. Okay, we need to be on a unity tip. All right, we don't need to seek out a leader, a label. We need to stand collectively for the rights for all Americans, because those rights are rights that we are afforded because we are from here. We are American, okay? See, because one thing about now that I do agree with Yvette Carnell on and ADS when it comes to a woman like Kamala Harris, who loves to let everybody know how black she is, all right? Now, some of y'all, I may piss somebody off with this right here, but there is a distinction between myself, whose parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents were born in the United States on this soil, had to have been born into bondage, since freed, and created a life that I could be here today talking to you people, talking to the people out there, okay? I can trace those roots. Kamala Harris has an Indian father and a Jamaican mother. So her experiences as a black person start in the 1960s. Okay, my family's experiences as American blacks, at the very least, starts in the 1820s. Okay, and I have that on record. So when it comes to the point of who's black and who black enough and blackish, I do think there needs to be a distinction drawn in that realm, especially when it comes to reparations, because is Kamala Harris, and I'm just picking on her because she's easy fodder, is Kamala Harris deserving, like I am, for reparations equally? Now, I don't know that it's up for me to decide. It won't be up for me to decide. This may be all a moot point, that we'll ever get to this point where we actually have reparations and some sustained apology and acknowledgement and moving forward. But it's an interesting question. It's one that I would love to pose to you guys. What do you think about that thought of someone who is a first generation American black versus an actual, and I don't want to use that ADOS term, even though I dig it because, like I said, I think it's trouble. There's trouble in that labeling. I just think Black American is sufficient. I think American is sufficient. You know, we are here. We are as entrenched. We serve in the military. Every man, except me, almost has served in the military in my family on both sides, as long as they could. I have the draft registration cards. I have the documentation. I have the receipts, and that's what's important. Okay, so I just want to make sure that, and the whole reason for me bringing this up is I don't want folks to fall for the okie doke. Okay, as Donald Trump has more and more rallies, getting people galvanized, getting them all built up, as he keeps telling black people what he's done for you, as some of these comedians and funny people and personalities, these performers. Because ultimately, if you make a show, you're a performer, okay? You are here to entertain. And nowadays, you're here to entertain and ask for money to support your movement, okay? That's what Tariq Nasheed does. That's what Yvette Carnell does. That's what everybody does. If you make content, you want people to watch it, you want eyeballs, and you want people to support your movement. I don't think that we need to create separate movements as black people. I think we need to find the commonality and put a plan together and execute. But I'm okay with them if they want to go do that. But I question their motives, and I'm gonna post an article about Yvette Carnell that it's like an op-ed piece that Talib Kweli Green, the rapper, wrote, because he had to do some research after Yvette Carnell challenged him and came at him. Because he said he supported a plan to study reparations. He didn't say he was against them but he wouldn't take them now. And she attacked him, and then he had to go in on her and ADOS. So make sure you check out that article and do your own research, okay? If you are a foundational Black American, if you are a member of ADOS, American Descendant of Slavery, let me know. Let's talk about it. Fill me in. What am I missing here? Because all I'm seeing is people who look like me fighting over a term on how to describe people who look like me, okay? I believe in action. I believe in movement. I believe in reform. And we have to get together. But I think that we need to be as much in lockstep as we can be. I mean, we are not a monolith. I always say that. But we can't turn the guns on each other. Okay? We need to stand in support of one another as much as possible, if we can. Because the bigger issues out there, are the Comcast decision, are police shootings, are the inequality and economics and wealth. That's what we need to focus on.